Hey yo, what up, my peeps? Hopefully you're having a good one, man. I was over here chilling. Today I was talking to my boy, man. I was at the gym. We were just talking, and he was just telling me that sometimes, bro, he's not motivated, like to go to the gym, or he's not motivated to do this. And I said, look, bro, in life I learned this. Like you're not always gonna be motivated, but if you're fucking disciplined, bro, discipline will take you far places in life, dude. And that's real shit. In life, I learned, dude, that you have to get back up. Life is gonna come and knock you down. Life is gonna come and fuck you up, and then you just have to get up every time, dude. Life is gonna come and knock you down. Life is gonna come and do a lot of shit, bro. But you always have to have that go getter mentality that nothing is gonna knock me down in life, bro. You know what I mean? You always have to be disciplined too, bro. Discipline is gonna get you along and far places in life. That's what I really believe. You know what I mean? Because I could sit here, bro. That's the reason why. I don't know if you guys noticed that for New Year's, like in January, all the gyms, all that stuff, bro. What do? They put specials, bro, because they know that people are not fucking disciplined. That they're just motivated because it's the New Year's. So they already know that people are gonna come in, work out for like a month, pay the whole year, pay all that, and then some of them are gonna come once in a while. Some of them this. Why? Because they are just hyped up. And once the hyped up goes away, bro, once that motivation goes away, bro, and all that, they give up. I seen so many people, bro, since I started going to the gym, dude, and working out and all that shit. I noticed that there's a lot of people like in January, February, even the people that always go to the gym, like everybody always jokes around, bro, because they always say the same thing, like, oh, it just packed for January and February. Oh, everybody's just getting ready for Valentine's. And it's true because not a lot of people, bro, are disciplined to go every day. You know what I mean? So, like I was telling my friend, I said, whatever you want to do in life, you can't just talk about it. You can't just say, oh, yeah, man, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Just do it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, motivation, bro, is cool. Being hyped up is cool. It's going to get you places. But if you're disciplined, dude, that discipline, bro, that's gonna take you places. That's gonna take you far places, bro. You know what I mean? Like a real shit, dude. Like I remember, man, when I started, I was I never started working out before. You know what I mean? It was like my first time when I started, and I remember I was motivated, but I wasn't disciplined. But once I started getting disciplined, and once I started doing all that, I started seeing changes, bro. And that goes for anything you want to do in life. You know what I mean? And that's like everything you want to be in life, dude. And I learned that motivation, bro, that's gonna get you shit. But if you're disciplined, dude, discipline will get you far places in life, dude. And that's real shit. Like when you wake up in the morning, dude, you're not fucking hyped up to do your bed. Why do you clean your bed? Why do you do your bed? Because you're disciplined. Because they taught you since you were a fucking kid. So you're disciplined to do that shit, bro. And discipline will get you far places. You know what I mean? That's what I learned in life, dude. Like life is gonna come and knock you down. Life is gonna come, bro, and do all that shit. But all depends what kind of mind you have, bro. What kind of mindset you have. You know what I mean? Like if you have like a weak mentality, bro, any little thing in life, you're gonna give up. Any obstacle in life, bro, you're gonna give up, bro. But if you have that go getter mentality, bro, if you got that fuck the bullshit, this is what I want in life, bro, you're gonna get that shit, bro. Nothing else is gonna take that shit from you. You know what I mean? Like 100%, dude. Everything in life has to do with you. Whatever you want to do, whatever you want, it's up to you to go get, dude. You know what I mean? It's up to nobody else. Like I was telling my boy, whatever you want to do in life, go out there, bro, and go do that shit. You know what I mean? Stop asking for permission. And stop asking for all that shit. And stop putting excuses. And stop blaming your past. And stop blaming none of that shit, bro. If you really want to do something in life, big dog, it's up to you to go get it. Nobody else. You know what I mean? Like a whole bunch of bullshit has happened to me in my life, and I don't sit here and blame nobody. I just learn. I learn from the mistakes. I learn from the people, bro, and I just get up and keep going. Fuck the crying. Fuck the bullshit. Fuck that feel sorry for me. None of that shit works, bro. You know what I mean? And that's 100%. You can't have that feel sorry for me mentality in life. What is that gonna get you, bro? You know what I mean? Like I really hate when people, bro, all they do is talk about the fucking problems and you tell them a solution and they don't want to do it. So like I just said, like, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like people out there, bro, have a feel sorry for me mentality. There's people out there, dude, that all they want to do is for you to feel sorry. They're not looking for change. They're not looking for none of that. All they're looking for is feel sorry for me. I can't stand people like that, bro. You gotta cut those people off in life. You know what I mean? Like bullshit, like real shit. You know what I mean? Like life, bro. Life is gonna come and really change you, dude. I think like the last year, a whole bunch of shit happened to me, and I learned. You know what I mean? Like I believe that life comes, bro, at you here to teach you valuable lessons in life. Everything that happens to you is for a fucking reason. Nothing just happens by accident. You don't just you don't nothing just happens, bro. Everything that happens in life is here to teach you a fucking lesson, dude. That's how I see it, bro. You know what I mean? And if you don't learn from that fucking lesson that life is giving you, is gonna come back. It's gonna come back. You can't run from your problems, man. That's one thing that I learned. You can't run from your problems. You can't do none of that shit. And also too, bro, whatever you did, it comes back in life. So it's always, bro, it's better to fix your fucking problems. What's up, my boy? Thank you for coming in, man, and enjoying. I appreciate you guys. But going back, dude, you know what I mean? Like when I was a young buck, when I was young, like I learned you can't run from your fucking problems because that shit comes back. Whatever you did 5 years, 10 years ago, bro, that is the reason why you're at the spot that you're in right now. You know what I mean? And my boy was telling me the last time, I think I made a video about it, and he was telling me, "Hey, Rob, do you think like the future is written already?" And I'm like, to be honest with you, bro, and talking to you guys, of course, we're writing our future, bro. We're writing our own path. Whatever decisions we did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that's the reason why we're here right now, and that's 100%, dude. You know what I mean? You can't blame nobody else for being in the situation you in, but you. You know what I mean? Like my father-in-law used to say, bro, you could point fingers, man, at everybody, but there's always fingers pointing back at you, and it's true. You know what I mean? That's like 100%, dude. You can't go around life, bro, blaming other people for the situation or where you at right now. You know what I mean? And that's real shit. That's what I feel, and that's what I believe, dude. You can't walk like there's a lot of people out there, bro. Because I have a lot of friends, and then like I have a friend, man. I've been knowing this dude since I was like in second grade. We've been knowing each other for fucking years. He's like a bro, and he was telling me, "Yeah, man, you know what I mean? Like I'm where I am because like where I come from, where I'm this, where I'm that." I said, "Look, bro, you are where you at, bro, because you're satisfied, you're content. You know what I mean? You don't want to move up in life. You're happy where you at. All you do is complain and bitch, but you don't do shit about it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people like that, dude. There's a lot of people that they just exist. They're not living, bro. They're just going day by day, day by day. You know what I mean? What you say? And I'm like, dude, if you want to do a change, you got to change. It's up to you, bro. Like everybody has 24 hours, bro. It all depends how you fucking use your 24 hours. Like I wake up in the morning, dude, and I hit the gym and I work out. And a lot of people tell me, man, Rob, you're lucky. You're lucky. I'm not fucking lucky, bro. You know what I mean? Like, how is that luck? I wake up in the morning. Why? Because I'm determined. Because I want to do it, bro. It's up to me to do something in life. It's up to me to change. You know what I mean? It's up to me to set the example for my girls. It's up to me. Nobody else, bro. There's between a leader and there's a boss. A boss tells you what to do and a leader shows you by example. That's how I am, bro. You know what I mean? And that's how I think people should be. You can't just fucking walk around and talk about it. You got to be about it. If you want something in life, it's up to you to get up there and go get it, bro. Like I said right now, everybody has the same 24 hours. It all depends how you want to use your 24 hours, bro. If you want to sit here on social media all day, bro, and make other people fucking blow up, that's on you. Well, you can go out there, bro, get up every day and make your dreams come true. It's all on you, bro. What kind of life you want? What do you want in life? Where do you see yourself, bro? And stop asking people, hey, do you think I could do this? Hey, do you think I could do that? Because a small minded person, bro, is going to tell you, nah, big dog, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. Fuck that, bro. You can't walk around in life asking people for permission to change your life, bro. You can't walk around in life, bro, thinking like, hey, you think I should do this? Hey, what do you think? The fuck does somebody else know what the fuck you want in life, bro? Everybody in life got their own shit. Everybody in life got their own fucking problems, bro. You know what I mean? Like real shit. Like I stopped believing, bro, telling people, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Just fucking do it, dude. Be like Nike and just fucking do that shit. Another thing I learned in life, dude, real shit, is that people, bro, even in your circle, like I said this last time, even in your circle, bro, they gonna send bad energy your way, dude. There's a lot of people out there, bro, even in your circle that don't want to see you shine. Even your family members, bro. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to see you shine, don't want to see you get up. There's people out there, bro, that want to see you do good in life, but they don't want to see you do better than them. You know what I mean? And that's sad. And I learned that shit in life, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it, love. You know, and that's what I believe, man. Like in life, just do you. Stay in your lane. That's what I learned in life, bro. Fuck drama, fuck nonsense, fuck all that shit. I got more years behind me, dude, that I do ahead of me. So why am I gonna sit here and waste my time and waste my life on nonsense and bullshit and all that, bro? You know what I mean? I've been through so much in my life that I appreciate life more. I appreciate myself more. I came out of a lot of dark places, a lot of dark shit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, bro, I believed in myself and I believed that I could do it. In life, you have to believe in yourself, dude. How can you expect other people to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself? How can you go out there and lie, bro, and expect people to love you and respect you when you don't respect and love yourself? Bro? You know what I mean? You can't go around life doing that shit, bro. You can't go around life, bro, fucking wishing, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that in my past. Bro, you still got time. Whatever you couldn't do in your past, bro, whatever, you could do it now. I believe, bro, that the past is here. I mean, the past, bro, is just here to teach you not to go back. You know what I mean? That's how I believe, bro. When I look back in my past and shit that I done, I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in the dark place where I was at before. I don't want to do that. So I I sit here, bro, and nah, that's what motivates me. That's what keeps me going, bro. Is not going back on who I was, that dude that I was before. You know what I mean? And that's the reason, bro. You gotta keep going and going, bro. Like I have heard in my life, bro, since I was a young buck, oh, you can't do this, oh, you can't do that. And when I was young, I used to believe that shit. Nah, man, I can't do this. Nah, man, I can't do that. Nah, I can't do this. As I got older and older, bro, and I realized after all the obstacles that I went through on my own, after all the shit that I've been through, I realized one thing. What the fuck was I thinking and believing what other people thought about me, bro? So every day, bro, I just work hard. And every day I say, you know what, I could do this. And no matter what life throws at me, I get up and do it, dude. I got girls that depend on me. I got family that depend on me. Imagine if I would give up, where would they be? You know what I mean? Sometimes, bro, is you gotta not just think about yourself, but you gotta think about other people that believe in you, that people that count on you. Those are the people, bro. You don't have to. You have to keep going for, bro. I never give a fuck about the people that talk shit about me. I never give a fuck about people that doubt me because they're not doubting me. They don't know me. They doubted themselves. Always remember this, bro. In life, somebody that's doing something in life are not gonna put you down, bro. It's always that somebody that ain't doing shit in life that's gonna come and knock you down. There's always that one person, bro. I mean, like for example, I go to the gym and I work out. I've been going there for a while. And somebody that goes to the gym, let's say for example, you start tomorrow, bro. Somebody that goes to the gym and they're gonna go and talk shit about to you. They're not gonna go and put you down. They're not gonna go and do that shit. Nah, bro. It's always that simple-minded person. There's always that person that has nothing going in their life. It's always that person, bro, that has shit to do. Are always the ones that gonna put you down, bro. Always remember that shit, dude. You know what I mean? So why are you gonna go out there, bro, and tell, hey, you think I could do this? You think I could do that? Just fucking do it. Do whatever it is that you want to do in life and just do that shit, dude. Believe in yourself, bro. Every day, you know what I learned too, because I like to read too. Every day when you wake up, always talk positive about yourself, bro. Because your mind is fucking strong. So if you always tell yourself, I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that, and blah, 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 your mind is going to believe it. If you always say, you know what, I want to do this, but you already got your mind used to always put in excuses, always, bro, your mind is powerful. Whatever you put in is going to attract. You know what I mean? So you have to be careful with what you say, what you think. Like 100%, dude. My bad, my phone got stuck. You know, man, like every day, dude, when you wake up in the morning, always think positive. Think positive about yourself. The world's already fucking negative. And there's already a lot of people out there, bro, waiting for your downfall. So why don't you wake up in the morning and say, you know what, I'm a fucking winner. You know what, bro, I deserve this. You know what, man, I'm gonna go get it. And always fucking set goals for yourself, dude. Like I say this in my videos. I don't know if you guys follow me or look at my videos. But every Sunday, bro, I always say the same thing. Write down your goals so that you know where you're going in life. Write down your daily, your weekly, your monthly, your yearly, and your life goals. Like that, you know where the fuck you're going in life. Like that, you don't waste time that we can't afford to waste, bro. You know what I mean? Look, man, half a year's already gone. You know what I mean? And what are you gonna say? Oh man, I'm gonna change my life next year. Or I'm gonna do something different next year. Nah, man, stop doing that shit. Whatever you want to do it, bro, just do it right now. And stop saying, you know what, I'm gonna do it on Monday. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. That tomorrow never comes, dude. You know what I mean? Hello. Hey, nice to see you, man. Thank you for coming and enjoying my life. All right, man. Nice, man. Nice. How's it going in Puerto Rico? Oh, that's pretty nice, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm over here just, talking about life and talking about stuff like that. I really appreciate you guys coming and joining in, man. I was just talking about, about motivation. I'm just talking about like every day when we wake up, that the world is full of negativity and full of all that. So I believe that every day when we wake up, we always got to think positive. We always got to talk good up to ourselves because our mind is very powerful. And I believe that whatever you put in your mind, you're gonna attract. If it's negative or it's positive, whatever it is. So that's the reason why sometimes we gotta be careful with the words that we say because I, it's so what I hear the last part you said. Yeah, I believe too. Like you attract whatever. That's what I believe, and I also believe in energy and all that positive energy. Sometimes like me, for example, I could go into a room, I could go somewhere, and I could just feel the energy. You could just feel the vibes. That's what I'm talking about, like the positive and the negative. What was that? Yeah, I just I believe that. whatever you put in your mind, you attract. Like for example, if you put your mind and goals to do something, you're gonna do it. If you're always giving up, and if you always, oh no, I can't do this, and no, I can't do that, then you already have your mind used to that. You know what I mean? You get used to use a routine. If you always, like I was telling my friend the last time, if you always say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna do this, and when the time comes, let's say for example, you say I'm gonna do it on Monday, and it's a Wednesday, for example, and I'm gonna do it on Monday. My Monday comes, you're already gonna have an excuse of not doing it because you already got your mind used to always put in an excuse of not doing it. You know what I mean? So if you always, if you're always saying, you know what, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna start this, or I'm gonna start that. When that day comes, he's not gonna do it. That's why I always say, if you want to do something, just do it. Don't say I'm gonna start next week or I'm gonna start on the first because you attract all that. Your mind is very strong, and you since you're a kid, we always been programmed. You know what I mean? Like me, for example, I don't work no more. But all my life, I used to work night shift. So now I still wake up at 3:30 in the morning. Why? Because I already have my mind used to it. You know what I mean? So whatever you put in here, you're gonna attract. That's what I believe. You attract negative, you attract positive. You feel me?
Yep. I also feel like our minds generate like a wave, like an energy wave.
Of course, yes.
Where if we be positive, like it comes from your body and around you, it affects them or other people or other the situation itself as positive.
Of course. Yeah, because I don't know, like to me, as I got older and older, I read people. And I read the energy. And sometimes when somebody's with that negative shit or that, or you know what I mean, or that feel sorry for me mentality or that shit, I just cut them off. Thank you, I appreciate it. You know, I just I feel that like we were talking about right now, like the energy that we attract and all that. So I feel that if I want to change my life, if I want to do that, then my circle got to change. My mentality got to change. You know what I mean? And whoever I hang around with, we always got to be tuned to the same radio, to the same wave. You know what I mean?
So to me today, right?
What
I
was
went
that?
to what happened. What happened to me today?
Uh huh.
I went to Cashville, the beach,
Yeah.
and I'm out there with my daughter and my grandson, who's not even a year old, and we're out there enjoying ourselves. And one of these kids threw a football, and it landed so close to me that I thought it hit me, but it was the splash of the water
Yeah.
directly in front of my face, in between me and my grandson. And all of a sudden, this big guy, 6 foot guy, he's standing next to this female, and he's like, "Oh, sorry." And then I was like, "Yo, you gotta be careful," And the guy that he was throwing it to was like, "Oh, relax." And then I'm like, the old me came out, like I was like, "Yo, you're gonna have a problem." You're looking for a problem. And then I turn around and face like the outside of the ocean,
Yeah.
took a deep breath, said thank you, dear God, and then I gave it up to him. And then I swear, went about my little day. I felt like, maybe 5 minutes go by, and I kind of like peek over my shoulder. They left. They left. But
Sometimes it's up to us.
they
Like,
began to throw the ball again. Like after that happened, they took the female tossed the ball
yes, you have to teach
in the
yourself.
water again, and I'm like, yo, how are you gonna be doing that? You should be stopped. There's all this beach. Go play somewhere else. The baby's here. You know.
Yes.
But
You know what I believe? I believe that sometimes, when people say man, that person fucked up my day, or that person did this. Nah, nobody fucked up your day. You allowed that person to fuck up your day. You gave that person the power to fuck up your day. You know what I mean?
right,
Like
right.
sometimes,
In actuality, nobody got hurt, you know?
yeah, yeah. Like my friend was telling me one day, because one day I remember I was driving and there was this guy. He had the door open, and I passed by and I said, "Bro, man, I almost hit you. Close your door. Don't be dumb." And then my friend tells me, "Oh man, you're positive in this." I said, "No, dude. Like sometimes we're human.
Right.
Like we're human, and sometimes you know what I mean. Like you said right now, the old you comes out because
Oh, man.
we're not perfect. We're not perfect.
Believe me, if I could have walked on the water.
Like I think we're learning, even though we're older already, but we're learning. We're constantly learning. Our mind is a learning machine. We're always learning. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean? So whoever
Only
says
through situations that we can learn, you know?
exactly, exactly, and sometimes I feel like people come to test us, like you said, to test the waters, to see how we're
Yeah.
gonna react. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Because yeah, we could sit here and talk a big game and this and that, but when shit hits the fan, how we really gonna react? You know what I mean? And I feel that whatever happens or whatever people run into you are here to teach you to see. You know what I mean? Like how you gonna react, how you gonna change, or how you gonna let the old you come out and whoop some ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Hi, Rob. Thank you for letting me up. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you, man, for coming and joining me. I finally learned how to go live on here. Before it wasn't letting me, so I would just go live on YouTube, or I would go live on Instagram. So right here is pretty cool, man. Thank you guys for taking your time and coming and join me and listening to my shit.
Well, Rob, I just want to be honest with you. I don't go live too much either. Rarely, rarely. But just make sure that you have some good moderators, whoever they are, people that you trust, that are
Yeah,
not going to go ahead and let your life be brought down. That's all.
yeah, I
And
see.
I wanted to ask you guys. You guys were talking about like, a situation that happened. What are some of you guys' triggers? Because I feel like that was, I can get triggered very easily when it comes to certain things. Other things,
I
it's
get
just not.
triggered too. Like me, like sometimes, you know what? I feel that I don't get really triggered as much as I used to get triggered. But I feel when somebody comes and starts knocking on my door, I'ma open it. You know what I mean? But I don't get triggered that fast.
I feel like anything to do with my kids or anything,
Oh, 100%. Oh yes.
all,
If you
you know,
fuck, I have a daughter. If you fuck with my daughter, anything, then of course. If you're messing with my family, you say anything about my family, then yeah, the old me comes out. But if it's something small, something like that, I just let that shit go. I feel like life is too precious to just trip over anything. But yeah, if it comes to family, that's a whole different ball game.
yeah, that's what Dee was saying, right, Dee? Isn't that what you were saying? Right. Well, and it depends on if I'm hungry.
What you say?
If I'm hungry, it's a little
Uh
harder when I'm hungry,
well, if you're hungry, have a Snickers. Yeah, you know what? When I was young, I think I had a lot of hate in me, and I had a lot of anger because I've been through a lot of shit, and I feel that anything would trigger me. I would just get mad, but it was just an excuse for me to leach out. You know what I mean? And I think as I got older and older, I started letting go of those old problems of the old me, and I started just growing up. And now I feel like when somebody gets me mad, if it's not that serious, I just walk away.
I sincerely believe hurt people, you know?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and you know what? I agree with you, Dee, and that is because I feel like they're in their own pain and they don't realize, or maybe they do and they don't care, but they project it to others.
100%. So
Yeah,
sometimes I like we were talking earlier about energy, and so when I feel somebody energy is way off or somebody that I just don't fuck with them. I just don't mess with
and
them.
and
I live in California, um, and I'm just gonna say this: TikTok, educational purposes only.
Of
I don't
course.
look good in orange. I don't look good in orange. An
Oh,
orange suit after I had to. Right? Nope. I can't do it. I don't look good in orange. Sorry.
look, I already wore the orange suit a couple, like many years ago, and I don't want to wear it again because see, the thing about it is that we don't think when people trigger us, we don't think that 25 to life you could do one day. You know what I mean? And not just that, but when you in there wearing that suit, it's not just you that suffers; it's your family that suffers. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
sometimes, sometimes when when people are about to fuck up our days, we gotta think about that orange jumpsuit, and we gotta think about it like, how long am I willing to wear this suit for? And
Or
it
you know what? Also, Rob, how long are we willing to wear those chains?
a hundred
Because like
percent,
because honestly, that orange suit may represent whatever you're thinking, but really it's a chain. It's supposed to remind you of how you were not able to regulate or control your feelings.
100%. And that's like what I was saying earlier too, is about like those extra baggage that we carry from our past too. Because sometimes we try to move ahead in life and we can't move ahead or we can't go fast enough because we're always living in the past or we carrying those luggages and we gotta cut that off. Because like we were saying earlier too, there's a lot of people that come and hurt us. They hurt us in our life. And if we always keep thinking about the same thing, they're still hurting us to this day. You know what I mean?
It's a circle. It's a
It's a
circle. You
circle.
gotta break the
Yeah,
circle
it's a
and
circle
then
because like
people
okay,
complain and complain. And
yes.
then it happens again, but they don't do nothing to change it. Like you gotta be the master of your own life, you know? If you
Oh,
don't put the 2 cents in,
a
you
hundred
know, then
percent.
you're gonna get the same thing all over again.
Like my father-in-law says, sometimes in life you have to be tired of being tired and you have to do a change. It's up to you to change your life. You know what I mean? There's only so much you could bitch and there's only so much that you could complain when you gotta just be tired. You know?
I just want to say, I know that we're all older here. Dee, you stated that you have a grandson. Congratulations. That's the beauty. That's the beauty about the second phase of life where you get to meet your grandkids. I cannot wait either.
I
But
could wait. I
you
could
know,
wait.
if you were able to go back and talk to your young self, let me just put it anywhere between age 10 and whatever 16, what would you tell yourself? Because somebody asked me that, and I have to say, this person that asked me that question is a very influential person,
I'm from California
and they
too.
and they asked me, Valentina, if you could go back and talk to that broken Valentina, because I found out that I was broken, what would you tell that little girl?
Well, for me, I think if I could go back to my 10-year-old or anywhere in between there, the traffic. So if I could say anything to myself, it would be, people really don't care. Stop feeling judged, like really, I mean, the people that actually judge you is jealous of you or want to be you or, but they don't matter because they're not going to be a part of your life. Like the people that you're worried about, they're not going to follow you wherever you go, so I would tell myself stop feeling so judged. I was always the outcast, like everywhere that I lived, like I grew up around a different race, and then when I hit teenage years, my father moved me to the whole opposite type of race, and it's not my own. Like I'm Hispanic, and I've never really lived around Hispanic, so I always had that racist around me, and a lot of judgment, a lot of judgment around me, and I always felt judged. So, and I think that really held me back as a person. Like I kept myself inside when I could have been sharing myself with the people that actually matter. I will attract the right people in my circle, and I always have. I've always had little circles, but they've always, they come, God or source or whoever, you guys, I believe in God, and I think that He sends me the right people at the right time.
That's so true. Me, if I could go back and talk to my 8-year-old to my 15-year-old, I would just tell myself that the shit that I'm going through is just temporary. It's not forever. And that the people that putting me down and the people that telling me that I can't do this and I can't do that, those people don't matter. Like you said right now. You know what I mean? And I'll probably go back and tell myself like, stop worrying about fitting in, stop worrying about that crowd, because at the end of the day, all those people that you try to be cool with, they're gonna be gone. None of them matter. All this shit is temporary. You know what I mean? So I would just tell myself, just believe in you because nobody else does, and just keep going and keep going, no matter what. You know what I mean? You're gonna meet good people, you're gonna meet bad people, and just learn from them and never ignore the red flags. And don't let nobody disrespect you. Don't let nobody tell you that you're any less. And then I would tell myself that whatever you want to do, you could fucking do it. You know what I mean?
When somebody shows you who they really are, believe them the first time.
Yes,
That's
and
another one.
one thing I have always learned too, now that I'm older, and you see the thing about it is now, like I have a daughter, right? So like we're talking about if we will go back in time. So I feel that when I talk to my daughters, like I'm talking to when I was a young buck. So I feel that when I talk to my daughters, like I'm talking to myself, telling her, don't do this, don't do that, because I've been through it. So I believe that that's how we gotta teach our kids. So if I would go back in time, I'll tell myself that. Just believe in myself and just keep going. You know what I mean? And the evil lady that was taking care of me, in a couple of years, she won't even matter. And that's it. You know what I mean? I just keep going and going. And also, like, a lot of people tell me, will you change anything in life? I don't think I will change anything because everything that happened to me, from me getting kicked out of my house when I was 15 and me going through the streets and me going through a whole bunch of shit, maybe the dude that I am today. Maybe I appreciate life. Maybe I appreciate, sometimes we have to just, like we said earlier, break the cycle that we went through because I came from a very bad family and it's up to me to change. So I believe that now that I'm older, it's up to me to change my bloodline. It's up to me to change my grandkids. It's up to me to change all that. You know what I mean?
Break the circle.
Break the circle. Yes, because see, I came from a family, a broken family. I came from a crazy mother. I never knew my dad, and none of that. And so when I was growing up, everybody would say, "All right, when you grow up, you're gonna have a broken home. You're gonna do this and that." And I said, "Fuck that. Fuck that." When I grow up, I'm gonna marry. I'm gonna have my family. I'm gonna have my kid, and I'm always gonna be there. And I'm gonna be a stand-up guy. And I always had this since I was a young kid. You know what I mean? Why? Because I didn't like where I came from. So I always thought like, hey, you know what? When I have a kid, when I have a family, I'm not gonna be like this. I'm gonna be different because I've been through it, and I don't want my kid to go through it. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, when I see a lot of dads and a lot of do that, because I see them leaving their kids, I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? A kid is a blessing, you know. And I feel that since I was a kid, I think being positive and having a positive mentality got me through a lot of shit. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I
I
feel
agree. I agree. So I just want to honest, like I think that's one of the things that one of my friends. So his name is Tony Evans. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he asked a lot of us, and that is, would you still be the same parent that your parents were to you, to your kids? Would you?
no, hell no.
Right? No, and honestly, when he asked that question, I literally, like, if you think about where you are right now, like, I think I'm 49, so I don't know how old you guys are,
I'm
but I'm in my
45.
okay, so I'm already in my 40s. D, I'm sorry, where are you? You don't have to say it.
7. In 1977. I'm in my 40s, so I'm pushing it.
So
We're
honestly, I
young.
know different mindset, different way of thinking back then. But now the way that I look back, the way that as much as I respect and honor my parents, hell no, I would not. I would not. But then also, honestly, like I said, I didn't realize how broken I was until I realized how broken I was.
You know what? Me too. Sorry to cut
Well,
you off. I feel the same way
and,
too.
and you know what? I don't know. What did it take for you guys to realize, like, you're broken. You come from a broken family, and now it is your choice. This is your chance to change it.
Um,
And I honestly, I think I was barely maybe hitting my 40s until I realized it.
I think when I change, I believe I think not really completely change, but when I became a dad, when I became a father, and I hold my daughter in my arms, and I looked at her, and I told myself, and I was like, you know what, I'm always gonna be here, no matter what life throws at me, no matter how broken I am, no matter what, I'm still gonna show up for you. I'm always gonna be here because I didn't have a dad, I didn't have a parent, I didn't have a mother, I didn't have shit. And now life gave me you, gave me a purpose. And that's how I see my daughter to this day. Like last year, I went through a triple bypass surgery, I went through a leg surgery and a car accident. And anybody else would have gave up, would have been broken. They even told me I might not even walk no more. And all I could think about was like, these people don't know me. They don't know Rob. They don't know what I've been through in my life. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna keep going. Why? Because I have a daughter. I have a daughter I gotta take care of. I have a daughter that I have to be here. And I think since my daughter was little, man, I always say, you know what? I can't even now my daughter's 20. I always say, you know what, when my daughter gets married, I want to walk into the aisle and I want to do that. And I think that's what keeps me going every fucking day. That's the reason why, I get up every morning, I hit the gym. I used to weigh 305 pounds. And they told me that a couple of years ago that I wasn't probably gonna make it, that I wasn't gonna probably die, and this and that. And then I told myself and I said, dude, so you being greedy here that you don't care about yourself, you don't take care of yourself. One day you're gonna die. Who's gonna take care of your kid? You always say you're gonna be a good dad and this and that. And I think that's what changed me last year. That's what really changed me when I death came and knocked on my door. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing, brother Donald? And death came a couple of times, and I believe that God gave me a second chance to be whatever I want to be. You know what I mean? And I feel that that's when I changed last year. When I beat death. When there's a lot of people that been through shit that I've been through and didn't make it. And I'm still here. So I'm here for a reason. And that's the reason why, I come out here and do these videos. That's the reason why I do a lot of my videos, try to motivate people, try to push people because I've been in the dark hole. I've been in the dark place. You know what I mean? And I'm just thankful that I got out of it. When I was 15 years old, I was in the streets. My mom had kicked me out. Why? Because she used to whoop my ass since I was 8 years old till I was 15. And when I was 15, I was already 6 feet tall. I was like 250 pounds. And shit didn't hurt me no more. You know what I mean? So what did she do was like, oh, get the fuck out of here. So I've been on my own since I was a young buck. So when I got my family, I said, holy shit, I got something that is mine. You see, when you never had something in life and you've been wanting it and then life gives it to you appreciate that shit. And that's why a lot of people don't see it. You know what I mean? Sometimes in life you have to hit rock bottom. Sometimes in life you got to go through a whole bunch of shit to appreciate the small shit in life. You know what I mean?
So if I could chime in,
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to. I actually do. I want
Thank you
to
for the
parent
gift.
my kids, and I am parenting my kids like my parents because I believe that they were going. They grew up in a different time. They
A
went through
hundred
their own
percent.
thing, and they loved me as much as they knew how to love me, and both of them, So, and that's all I'm doing to my kids is there's no handbook. I'm just loving them more than myself, and if I could love everyone in the entire world more than myself, I think that's the goal. To be, to live my life in love. but of course I fall short on everyone else. But it's so simple with my kids, you know.
Yeah, of
So I'm
course.
just helping them, you know.
Yeah, I feel you. Like me, I feel that my job as a parent is to teach my kid to believe in herself, is to teach my kid to set goals, is to motivate my kid, is to be my kid's number one fan. You know, and
Yes.
that's what I believe. I believe that whatever I've been through in my life, whatever all that I went through in my life, it was just here to teach me and to make me a better person and a better parent. You know what I mean? And I feel that I paid the cost so my daughter didn't have to. So my daughter could know what it is to have a good dad, even though I never knew my dad, even though my dad was a real candy ass. You know what I mean? But at least I paid the price and I learned and value my family so that my daughter could have a good dad, that dad that I wanted to have. You know what I mean? So we learn from our past. We learn from the mistakes. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people out there. For example, somebody could say, "Oh, I'm an alcoholic because I saw my dad drink every single day, and that's why I am." No, you're that way because you want to be that way. You know what I mean? Like I used to get my ass beat every day, and I could come and beat my daughter's ass, my girl's ass, and be like, "Hey, that's what I know. That's what I thought." No, but I have a choice. The choice was like, "Hey, I didn't like being treated that way, so why am I going to treat others that way?" You know what I mean?
Thank you for inviting me to the talk. I'm on vacation, so I have to go.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. Go enjoy your time in Puerto Rico. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you.
Oh, enjoy it. Enjoy it,
Thank
please.
you. My parents had it harder than me, and I had to come back to life before. Hey, man, I feel you, Donald. You know what I mean? Sometimes, like we said earlier, man, our parents, they came from a different place. Because like my mom used to get her ass whooped, my grandma used to get her ass whooped and all that. But I feel that if you got your ass whooped and you didn't like the way you got treated, you could change. You know what I mean? Because all that is just an excuse. Like I was saying right now, I could have said, "Hey, you know what? I never been loved in my life. I don't know what love is. I don't know what it is and that." So I could have used that as an excuse and became a druggie, an alcoholic, or a wife beater, or my child beating my kid because hey, that would be my excuse. But no, I didn't like it. I didn't like to get treated bad. I didn't like going through all that shit. So you know what? When I became a dad, I said, "Fuck that. I'm gonna be the best that I could be. I'm not perfect by a long shot. You know what I mean? But I try to be a good example. I try to be a good role model. I'm just when I'm long gone, I just want my daughter to tell my grandkids and say, you know what, my dad never gave up. My dad never had it like I did, but you know what? He tried and he was always here. No matter what, he came and he was here and he showed me. That's what I want my daughter. I want to leave that legacy where I never gave up, where no matter what life threw at me, where I was broken, and because of my daughter, I put myself back together. And that's the real reality. You know what I mean? Like we were saying earlier, Valley, we're broken, and I didn't know how broken I was. You know what I mean? And I always wanted people to love me, and I always wanted people to respect me. But one day somebody told me this, and it opened my mind. And it said, "Rob, how do you expect people to love you and people to respect you when you don't respect yourself? When you don't love yourself? When you let people walk all over you? When you let people do whatever the fuck they want to you and you just sit there? How? You have to start learning how to love and respect yourself, and everything else is going to come in." And that's what I've been doing. You know what I mean? Stop tolerating shit. I really stopped changing, and I really try to just set a good example, man. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks, Donald, for starting following me, man. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
just
Thank you, Donald. No, I just want to say, Rob,
yo,
I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of cooking,
what are you
which I
cooking?
don't cook. I'm cooking fish, salmon, with sauteed onions, tomatoes, broccoli, and I know that sounds crazy, right? And then also
That sounds pretty.
peppers,
Sounds pretty good.
peppers with wrapped up bacon.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
So
Oh yeah, you
I
were
didn't
gonna
want to.
say?
I didn't want to make any noise, huh?
You were gonna say before I said what you were cooking?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, like, that's the beauty about this world right here where we are now. Like, all of us, we are a spiritual being.
Of course.
But what makes us beautiful about right now, and that is this body that you look at, like, if we were to face each other face to face, and I see you in your physical form, the flesh that you have now, that's the beauty about this. You are not that flesh. You're
No,
not.
this is just a
Um,
suit that we need to live here.
exactly. So the fact that you were able to identify that this is not going to be my reality. This flesh that everybody tells me I'm going to lose, I'm not going to gain to anything. Right there, that tells you that that's the beauty about how powerful the soul is.
Of course. I feel like, I was talking to my friend about this like thing like last Sunday. He came over and he was telling me, Rob, what do you think like it is an afterlife after this, or you think he thinks like we just die. I told him our body dies, but we're energy. Energy never dies, bro. We keep going. That's what I think. Yeah, that's true, Donald. You don't have to put your burden on the next generation, man. Like I feel like we were saying earlier, dude. It's up to us to stop. It's up to us to just say, you know what, enough is enough. When you're tired of being tired, it's up to you. You don't like how people treat you. You don't have to hang around with people. You could just cut people off. That's what I started doing. When people don't suit me right with my energy, or I don't like the way somebody treats me, or I don't like the ways they treat others, I just cut them off, man. It's that simple. I feel like the older I got and the more bullshit I've been through in my life, I just stopped tolerating people like the bullshit. Like I always say this: if people don't value their time, how are they gonna value mine? You know what I mean? And also too, man, you could throw your whole life away by hanging around with the wrong people.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that saying that says guilty by association?
Of course, yeah, he just said that right now. Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm cooking. I don't know if you can hear my fan going.
No, no, no. But yeah,
Yeah, guilty by association. That's a real thing under the court of law.
of course. So like, I just like me, I just sit back because I learned that the less you talk and the more you listen, the more you learn about people. You know what I mean? And I just sit back and I just see how people talk about other people, and I just cut that shit out because I always see this: if somebody comes and talks to you bad about somebody else, and they get mad at that person, they come and tell you all their secrets because they're mad. One day they're gonna do the same thing to you. One day they're gonna get mad at you and talk about you. So you know what I do? I stop fucking with those people. You know, like you don't have to, even if it's family. If they don't sit right with you, if they don't treat you right, just because your blood doesn't mean you have to hang around. That's what I tell my daughter all the time. Like, I'm not gonna make my daughter go and hang around with my mom or my family when they don't like me. They don't like me. They don't like my kids. So if my daughter's like, no, I don't want to go hang around with them, I'm not gonna make them. You know what I mean? I don't force none of that shit. If your energy don't sit right with me, I don't give a fuck. I'm sorry. I don't care if I don't know you. If I've been knowing you for 20, 30, 40 years, but I'm not gonna sit here. I'm not gonna sit here and waste my life waiting on somebody to change. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's
I
stupid.
I agree, Rob. One of the things that we're told when we're getting our MBA, like our master's business degrees, we're told that if a man cheats on his wife, let me just put it this way: if a man is cheating on his wife and having whatever you want to call it, be very careful going into business with that man, because what happens is if he's willing to cheat at that core level that requires loyalty, okay, let me just put it that way: not love, not anything else, just loyalty. Okay, how much more do you not think he's going to go ahead and cheat on that penny or that dime, or now let me put it this way, on that $10 million and that $10 million decision business making. Oh, hi, can't fix it. How are you, my friend? So yeah, so just think about that, Rob. Like, not that you have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect, but there are some boundaries that if people are passing those boundaries, how much more are they not going to pass your boundaries?
That is true. And it goes both ways too, because girls cheat too. That is true. You can't like for example this. If you leave $1, let's say for example somebody takes it and you like, hey bro, you take my dollar, bro. It was just $1. No, it's the trust. It's not just the freaking dollar. It's a trust. Like you broke that trust. You know what I mean? So it's true. It's true what you say.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I mean? Because if you can't trust somebody with the smallest things, how can you trust them with the big shit? Or somebody gotta lie to you about the smallest stuff. Why else are they lying to you about? But people could change too.
Yeah, I'm just, honestly, Rob, I feel like I'm just too old to wait for them to change.
You know what?
My
Oh, you know what? I feel you on that one because I'm 45 and I got to the point where it's like, okay, you know what you're doing, and I've been telling you this for a long time. And if you don't want to change, then fuck it. You don't want to change. And you know what I mean? You can't force nobody to change. You can't force nobody to love you. You can't force nobody to stay. And if you keep telling somebody, hey, can you change or can you do this or can you do that? And that person is still doing it, that means they don't give a fuck. That means that they
or
just don't care. Or something is wrong that they just can't change.
or you know what, even this, like they don't even see it. I feel like that's the hardest mindset to try to go ahead and not break, but to open up their eyes. Like, like imagine, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a big old, it was a dispute between, is the dress blue
Yeah, I
or is
remember
it,
that. Yeah, they was like the
you
gold and white.
right. And a lot of people they even went like 10 toes against it. Like, no, it's blue. The other ones were like, no, it's gold. But a lot of people don't realize that our eyes, our retina, the retina that we have in our eyes,
Uh-huh.
some people have a higher clarity with the gold versus the blue. So they were both right. Because if I look at your hat, I will sit there and say 10 toes down, it looks green,
Yeah, it's
right?
green. Yeah.
Somebody else that comes in may say, no, that's a blue green, because they see more of the blue versus just the actual light green that I'm seeing,
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was crazy.
Sometimes it's your mind too. You know what I mean? That you could be in the room, that your mind is very strong. Now, let's say, for example, you could be in the room by yourself, and then once you start putting your mind like, oh, I hear this, you start hearing noises, you start hearing shit. Your mind is very strong, very powerful. Oh, yeah, man. Donald, yeah, bro. Change is needed in life. You got to change. You got to change. And if people are not willing to change, you just have to move on, man. It is true what you just said right now. We're older already. So I don't really think I have time to be babying a grown up.
It's crazy that you say that, because I've been asked, Valentina, you've been single for 7 years. Are you dating? What are you doing? And my answer to them is like, I am so single, I don't even want a plant to have to take care of. Rob, do you hear that? Like, I don't even want a plant. My Labrador passed away 3 years
Oh,
ago.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I just want to say, like, no, I don't want to take care of people. I'm sorry. I've taken care of kids my whole life. I had my firstborn when I was 16. Love him to death. He's about to be 33. Love him to death. But also, then I have the twins. The twins are 23. I'm sorry. I don't want to go ahead and take care of another man child. I don't. Their father was not that. He was a wonderful, wonderful husband. But at the same time, I did meet him when I was 18. You know,
Yeah, you have different mentalities,
yeah.
and I
So
feel like when you have a partner, um, you have to level up. You have to push each other, motivate each other. You guys have to be like in the same. You know what I mean? Because yeah, especially like I met my wife too when I was 21, and we grew up. We grew up, and I feel that you have to be in tune because you can't outgrow somebody. You could outgrow somebody. You know what I mean? So I feel like you always have to be in the same. You always have to motivate, have goals, ambition, and all that. Because if one wants to move ahead in life and one wants to better themselves, and then the other one is like, nah, I like where I'm at. You know what I mean? You have to be in the same channel.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I'm sorry, I'm cutting onions.
No,
My
it's cool. Don't worry.
meat's
Don't start crying now
almost
with the
ready.
onions.
No, I agree with you. Like, I think honestly, we both filed when the twins were 14. They're 23 now. They're gonna be 24 next year in January. We
Okay.
both filed together at the same time. We agreed, and this is what I want to say, Rob. It wasn't until the twins were 14, and now the girls are hitting on them.
Okay.
They were the girl. I remember we had gone to a competition. The boys are athletic like their father. They were getting football scholarship and so forth on, academic scholarships, and we had stopped by a restaurant on our way home because I said, "Hey, I'm not planning on cooking. I'm too tired. Let's just go ahead and pick up some food or eat there." And this young lady who was picking up our dish, she looked like she was barely maybe 18. And Rob, I'll never forget. It was like, oh my Lord. She goes ahead and she picks up the plate. She puts it to her left side. She sticks at her chest, moves her hair around, and she's like, "Oh, so by the way, what high school do you guys go to?" And I said, "Oh my God, Rob, I just realized like," and the boys were like barely like going into they were still in the 8th grade. And I looked at her and I was like, "They're not in high school. They're in junior high. They're 8th grade." And I remember thinking, why am I so angry? Why am I so angry? So when their father came to sit down, he was like, "Hey, so what did I miss?" And I was like, "You see the waitress?" And he was like, "Oh yeah."
Thank you.
And then
Appreciate it.
he's like, I was like, she just hit on the boys. The boys are 14. She looks like she's 18, 19. And this is what he did. He's like, high five to the twins. Like,
Because they're
yeah.
boys.
And I remember, no, imagine if the tables were turned around. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm losing this battle. I'm losing this battle because maybe I'm just a crazy one in this table, but I am their mother. And I want them to know. I want them to know what love really is.
Of
And it was
course.
at the time, when their father would travel. He's a cardiologist. He would be gone for days, and I would be okay with it. I would be okay with it. Oh, you're calling me right now. Why are you calling me right now? That's when I realized, yeah, we were good together business wise, if we were to put it that way. But at the end, I needed those boys to know what a real love a woman can give another man. And that's when we filed.
I feel you. Like me, I've been with married for 23 years, and like we motivate each other, we push each other. You know what I mean? And I feel like when you're in a relationship, is you always gotta push and motivate each other, and always be each other's number one fan. You know what I mean? And when it comes to my parenting, like with me, I have a daughter, and then when my daughter was growing up, they were like, "Hey, Robert, how you gonna act when your daughter gets older? How you gonna do this? How you gonna do that?" And one thing I realize is if I act like an asshole to my daughter's boyfriend, let's say, you know what that's gonna do? Let's say, for example, if I tell my daughter, "No, you can't go see him. No, you can't talk to him. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that," she's gonna go behind my back. You know what I mean? So what I could do is, because it's a circle of life, I know that one day a boyfriend's gonna come or whatever, but I just feel that If I play the bad guy, all I'm doing is pushing her to the arms of that guy. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I
yeah, exactly.
and I feel too that, let's say, because there's a lot of parents out there, a lot of dads, especially dads, because they come from a different world, and they feel like, oh no, my daughter's not gonna date. Oh no, my daughter's not. That's being foolish because your daughter is gonna date. There is gonna be, you know what I mean? You just you just playing yourself. So with me, growing up now, my daughter, I she has a boyfriend and she comes over the house. I think that my girl is more like you, like more jealous and more overprotective with my daughter than I am. I'm probably like more laid back because I feel that I have a good and a close relationship with my daughter that she comes and tells me anything, you know? And yeah, of course, like when I see her hugging him or kissing or whatever, of course, I get like,
Wait, she kisses him in front of you?
no,
Like,
that
I would have been mortified if
well,
I
not
in
kids,
front of
not
my
kids, but
dad.
like not kids like that, but like a peg, like hey, when they see each other,
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And then my daughter's at university already. She lives in a dorm.
yeah, yeah. No, honestly, as a parent or as a mother, and I also my father was, he was like, Valentina, I'm not always going to be here. I'm going to be older. I'm going to, my father had me um, in his 40s.
Whoa.
And my mother also had me in her late 30s. And this is what he said: I'm going to have to go ahead and hand you over to the one man that God's going to go ahead and protect you the way that I love you.
A
You
hundred
know.
percent.
So I just feel like, I feel like for me, I am not a protective mom. The boys have been, and the twins have, and my oldest is about to get married next year. For me,
Congrats.
I've never been. I don't understand how to be that mother-in-law or that father-in-law where like I don't like him or I don't like her. Like why? These people, the whole reason to raise these little ones is to show them love, to show them strength, and to be able to be something to the community. But most importantly, to be able to have a strong partner.
100%.
You know?
Because you know what too, I believe too. Like, let's say for example, if you're like those strict parents, and you don't allow your kid to come and tell you, sometimes they get stuck in a relationship just because they're scared to go back home. You know what I mean? I feel that as a parent, you always should have that the door open where your kid could just come and talk to you about anything. That
Yeah,
you
that open door.
Yes.
I remember my grandmother, not necessarily my parents, but my grandmother, because my grandfather was went ahead and passed away when my mom was 8 years old. But
Sorry
my
to hear that.
grandmother would tell us, she would tell me and my cousins, and that is, if you guys ever do not feel safe, do not want to go ahead and get on that car, that person is, let's say, using stuff that they should not be using while driving, please call me. I'll pick you up. No questions asked. No
That's what I tell
questions
my daughter
asked.
too. I tell my daughter, no matter where you're at, no matter how far you're at, when you need me, I'll be there. No matter what
Yeah.
time it is. And I also, because, you can't be a strict dad. You can't be an asshole dad because what about it? Let's say, for example, she she meets a cool guy and the guy really loves her, but you're an asshole to him and you push him away. Now you're pushing the happiness away from your daughter just because you don't want to accept or just because you're a helicopter dad. You know what I mean? Like, I feel that as a dad, as a parent, have communication with your kid. Your kid should be able to come and talk to you. Because my daughter, I'm so thankful that God gave me the daughter that He gave me. Because since she was a kid, she always came and talked to me, and we always had that trust. She could always come and sit down and tell me anything. So I feel that it took time to build that. It didn't just come, but I feel that instead of pushing my daughter away, I wanted to be here. I wanted to be like, you know what, I'm gonna tell my dad. Or even if it does something stupid or something dumb, I wanted to be like, you know what, my dad I could go and run to and I could go and talk to my dad. That's the kind of relationship I want. I want with my daughter. And I feel that a lot of dads should be that way. Because there's a lot of dads out there that they're blind and they're like, oh no, my daughter's not gonna date nobody. You're fucking stupid, dude. Or my daughter's not gonna or my daughter's not gonna do that. If they're not gonna do it, they're gonna do it behind your back. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right.
look at my mother. I have two sisters, right? And then my mother, she will always, you know what I mean? I already said my story before how she was with me. But I have my other sister, she got pregnant when she was 15. And she barely knew her boyfriend. But what did my mom do? Instead of sitting there and supporting her and saying, you know what, I got pregnant at 14 and my mom got too, you know what, I'm gonna be here for you. No, what did she do? Continue the same drama, the same legacy, kicked her out. And then my sister got with a dude because she couldn't go nowhere else. You know what I mean? So sometimes us as parents, yeah, machismo. And then as parents, we have to sit there and teach our kids like, hey, you know what? If you don't feel safe, like you say, if you don't feel safe, if the love is gone, don't feel like you're stuck there just because you're scared to come home. Like I'm always gonna be here. That's what I tell my daughter. I say, you know what? No matter where you at, you could be in a relationship. You don't love that person. Don't feel that you have to be with that person just because you can't come back home. Like this is always gonna be. I'm always gonna be here, no matter how old I am. I'm always gonna be your dad, and I'm always gonna be here. That's my job. You know what I mean? Like I always say this is a joke, but this is really how I see it. When my daughter was born and my girl gave birth and I hold my daughter, I became fucking Terminator. And my daughter took the role of John Connor. And no matter what fucking life threw at me, no matter how broken I was, no matter what, I will get up and I will come for her. That's my mission in life, to take care of my fucking daughter. That's it. God only gave me one, but to me, he gave me the best one. And my job is to sit here and take care of her. And maybe as a kid, I had some fucked up parents. I had a fucked up mom. I didn't even know my dad. So maybe I went through all that. So when God did give me my blessing, my only blessing is for me to appreciate her. You know what I mean? And I appreciate my kid. And everybody that knows me for real knows that my kid is number one. You know what I mean? So I feel that as a dad, my job is to be a friend to my daughter, is to make her feel comfortable and coming over here and talking to me. You know what I mean? Because, hey, man, if I don't teach my daughter, if I don't put my daughter on game, if I'm not here to listen to my daughter, you best believe there's going to be a dude out there listening to my daughter, ready to brainwash her. You know what I mean? So it's my job as a dad to put my daughter up on game. You know what I mean? Like real shit. And I think that's where a lot of dads fuck up, where they don't want to listen to their kids or their daughter, or they're like, you're not gonna date this person or this and that. Nah, bro. It's the circle of life. I mean,
Exactly.
my in-laws didn't like me. My in-laws hated me. You know what I mean? And why? Imagine if I would have been a different kind of guy and I would have been like, oh no, fuck dad. I'm weak. I don't want to date you because your dad don't like me or your mom don't like me. Fuck that. I love her. I'm gonna be with her no matter what. And thanks because I stuck in. Now I have a beautiful daughter. You know what I mean? So now imagine if I would have let my father-in-law convince me to leave, convince me to go. I wouldn't have the daughter that I have. Yeah, of course. Of course, Erica, they're close-minded, and I feel that my mother was close-minded. My whole bloodline is close-minded. Like my whole family, my whole past, they're Indios. I don't know what you guys know about. They're fucking Indios. They don't fucking look besides that fucking wall in front of them. Me, I'm different. I learned from the mistakes that I've done. I learned from the shit that has came my way. I learned. I learned and I appreciate it. You know what I mean? So I'm the kind of guy that I always sit back and look and like, you know what, man? I don't like that. I'm not gonna treat my kid that way. I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like I got kicked out of my house when I was 15. I was already 250 pounds, fucking 6 feet, 6'1". I'm 6'2", 6 feet. I could have said, you know what, man, I'm gonna go rob people. I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna go do that. No, you have a choice. You have a choice to stop. You have a choice to say, nah, man, this is not what I want. And when I became a dad, I had a choice, either to be there and be like my parent, or to sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna be a stand-up guy, and I am here. And no matter what life threw at me, I'm still here. You know what I mean? There's plenty of times where I could have thrown in the towel. There's plenty of times I could have said, nah, this is too much. But nah, man. You know what I mean? I was born in the late 70s, raised in the 90s. I stopped giving a fuck in the early 2000s.
I feel like we earned our rights to do that, especially the 70s kids.
Hell yeah. Like I've been through too much shit in my life. I've seen a lot of stuff for me to sit here and wait, like we were saying earlier, wait for people to change and waiting and just waiting. You know why? Because life that's cool, brother. Um, life doesn't wait for nobody. So why are you gonna sit here and wait for somebody to change? Why are you gonna sit here and wait for somebody to say, hey, you know what, I am hurting that person, or hey, you know what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like sometimes people change when they're about to lose you, when they say like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? And I think before you get to the point, you have to change. If you love somebody or you really you could change. It's up to you to change. You know, some people just use where they come from or shit they've been through in life as an excuse. You know what I mean? Some people, they say, "Oh, it's because I treat you this way. It's because I don't know any better, because that's how I was treated." Wait a minute. If you were treated that way, then why are you treating me that way? You know what I mean? It's like you have a. Thank you for that, amen. It's true. You have a choice. You could change. Like you know what I mean? Like I say, like I could have been an asshole. I could have said, man, you know what? My mom was like this, my dad was like that. I'm in the fucking streets at 15 years old. What the fuck? But no, like I always put it in my mind, like I'm not gonna give my mom the satisfaction to see me in jail. I'm not gonna give my mom the satisfaction to do this. So you know what? I was going to high school and I got a fucking job. Thank God I was a big dude, and they didn't ask me for my ID. They were paying me under the table. And at 17, I got my own apartment. You know what I mean? So I had a choice. I could either sit there and say, you know what, fuck this, man. Oh, I hate my life and I hate this and I'm against the world. Fuck that, dude. I told myself, I'm not going to give nobody the pleasure to see me hit rock bottom. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this. And I'm doing it, dude. So you have a choice. You have a choice. Whatever it is, you have a choice, bro. You know what I mean? So when people say, "Oh, I can't change," you can't change because you don't want to change. It doesn't matter what you've been through, bro. If you really want to change and you're really tired of being tired, you're gonna find a way to change, bro. You know what I mean? If the person's always all they do is say, I'm gonna change," but they never do, they will never do it, bro. They're never gonna change. You're just wasting your time. And that's what I learned, dude. You know what I mean? So just like to me, I learned, bro. I'm like 45 already. I learned just to concentrate on me, to concentrate on my happiness, to concentrate on my mindset. You know why? Because all of my life, I have always put everybody else before me. You know what I mean? And so, guess what those people did? They put somebody else before me because I will never put myself first. You know what I mean? So, if you don't respect yourself or you don't put yourself first, who's going to put you first? You know what I mean? Like the other lady said before she left, like she loves other people more than her. You have to love yourself so other people could love you. You have to respect yourself so other people could respect you. Because if you don't respect yourself, how are other people going to respect you? If you don't value yourself, if you don't value your time, how is other people value you? Bomb.
I just want to show you that I'm actually cooking. That's why I'm quiet.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. There comes a time in life where 100%, Erica. There comes a time in life where you have to put yourself first because you know what? Like sometimes people will use you, break you, and toss you and leave you there. And then at the end of the day, they will tell you, I never asked for you to do none of that. You know what I mean? So, as I got older, like when I was young, I wanted to get in. When I was young, like I said earlier, I didn't have a family, so I always wanted to have a family. I always wanted to have that. And so I lost myself. I lost myself trying to get that dream. But then life came and you know what I mean? Like I've been through, of course, like I always say this in one of my videos I did a long time ago. When we're kids, we always trying to make our parents happy. You know what I mean? We always trying to be the good kid, try to make them happy and do that. We get older, we try to make our friends happy, put our friends first, and know that. Why? Because we trying to fit in, we trying to be part of the crowd. We don't want to be the douche, you know what I mean, that says no. So we trying to fit in, so we always say yes. And then we get married, we have kids, we put our spouse first, then we put our kids first, but never in our lives we put ourselves first. You know what I mean? We always last. And if you really think about it, we cannot do shit without us. So we got to start putting ourselves first. We got to start loving ourselves. We got to start doing that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people tell me, Robert, you change. Yeah, bro, I changed for the better because now you can't take advantage of me. Before, when I was in my 20s and my 30s, I was a yes man. Yes, yes, everybody will call me for favors. Hell yeah, you learned the hard way. And, I was a
Oh wow,
yes man.
that's
Yep.
crazy. Yes, I was willing to please my parents, please people that I thought were important, family members. Let me just put it that way. And yes, finally I woke up.
Yes, because you know what? You know what? When I woke up is when I hit rock bottom. And I hit rock bottom and I needed them. Nobody was there. Nobody was there. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why I'm like, remember back in the days, T-Mobile, your top five friends? That's how I am now. I only have top five friends. I don't need a bunch, and the only people that I hang around with and I talk to are the people that were with me when I hit rock bottom. All right, Erica, whenever you want, man, come by and check us out, man. Thank you for coming by and checking me out, man. I appreciate you. But yes, and I just
Amen,
realized,
Erica.
that you have to love yourself because if you don't love yourself, or put yourself first, nobody else will. And people look, oh, like I was saying earlier, I lost my thought. Um, I was a yes man, yes to everything, yes, 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 yes. And then when I hit rock bottom and I went through shit, the only one that was there was my girl and my daughter. You know what I mean? And then when my girl needed help, nobody was there. So I took it like, if you're not there for my girl, you're not there for me. You know what I mean? And I just realized that, and I just started cutting people off, like real shit. Just people would just started dropping like flies. Like, you know what, man? I don't need you in my life. Why are you here for? Why are you taking my space? You know what I mean? And it sounds fucked up, but you have to put yourself first. Like, why? Like my father-in-law always says to me, Robert, why do you need a whole bunch of people around you that ain't doing shit? It's not the quantity, it's the quality of people around you. And I started noticing that. You know what I mean? And maybe life, and maybe God, whatever you believe in, the universe, whatever took me to the darkest moments in my life and took me to the dark places in my life to see who was there. So I could realize that I was bending backwards for people that wouldn't even move a step for me. When I was worried about people that wouldn't even worried about me. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why we don't realize and appreciate. I like me, I'm a positive person. So even if something fucked up happens to me, I turn it into a learning lesson. And so maybe that's the reason why people come in our lives to teach us so we could learn and value ourselves. Life comes and throws pushes us so we could appreciate. There was a time in my life where I couldn't walk, where I couldn't even go to the restaurant after my heart surgery. You know what I mean? And it wasn't because I wasn't taking care of myself. It was because of the decisions that I did when I was young that came and got me. You know what I mean? So like I was saying earlier, you can never run from your past. And I learned to cut people off, appreciate you, always, always don't ignore the red flags on people. And if you don't like something, tell them. And if they don't change, let them go. Because, like you said earlier, we don't have time to sit here and babysit nobody. We don't have time to sit here. Like, we already have kids and the kids are grown. So, why are we going to babysit our spouses or our partners, our friends? You know what I mean? Why are we going to sit here and wait for people to give a fuck about us?
Right, exactly. Like, I'm looking forward to grandkids. I'm
Me
not about to
too.
waste my energy, on somebody that needs to go ahead and be cuddled or has trauma with their exes or whatever. Like, no,
No,
I'm
yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah, like I feel that we're already grown, and if I could change and I try to let go of the trauma that I had, anybody else can. When you really love somebody, you change. Like I always say this, nobody can make you change. People change because they want to change. You know what I mean? Even if the horse is
Yeah.
thirsty, you can't take him to drink water. If you don't want to drink, he's not going to drink. That
And
goes.
Rob, also we're at that, that era or that technology where if somebody says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was too busy." No.
No, everybody
It
has their phone
takes
with them.
it takes 3 seconds to say, call you back or something.
Or when
Like
somebody
you
says, yeah,
must, unless if you're like a surgeon and you're doing surgery for like 18 hours straight, even then you can go ahead and have your assistant or whoever is in that room with you and be like, please send this message back and let them know that I'll call them back as soon as my surgery is done.
hundred
Like it's
percent.
really that simple. It really is that simple.
Yeah,
Don't try to make it complicated.
like I said in one of my videos too. I said, sometimes we sit here and we water a plant that's already dead. We're watering relationships, friendships that are already dead. Sometimes, if you really see it, we are the only ones reaching out to people, texting them, calling them, and all that. And like you say, we live in a world now where everybody has a phone, where everybody could reach. Like I see one of my friends a long time ago. He was like, "Hey, Robert, dude, how come you haven't called me? How come you haven't called me either?" You know what I mean? Sometimes when we're the only ones calling, when we're the only ones that are reaching out, we're watering that plant. Stop calling. Start reaching out and see who's really gonna reach out to you. See who really cares about you. You know what I mean? Because sometimes we sit there calling people, reaching out, bending over backwards and trying to keep people happy that they don't even check up on us. They don't even think about us. We're not even in the radar.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I had this one friend, and she was going through
I
some
feel it. I
stuff.
know.
She was going through her, her trauma or whatever. And we were talking. She was the only. Let me just put it this way. She was the only person that I gave my personal number here on TikTok. After being here for like, I think it's been maybe 3.5 years. She was the only one. I really thought she was a sister. I really wanted to go ahead and open up to her. And I did because everybody knows that you can go ahead and look up a person with just their personal number.
Of
So
course.
I did. I was willing to do that. And we did. We talked morning, sometimes days, sometimes even nights. But it wasn't as she stopped answering like when I would call. And she's like, I'm sorry, I'm not having a good day. And so forth on. And I told her, I said, hey, listen. And I sent a message and I said, I'm gonna call and I'm gonna text. But you better believe it. Once I am done doing that, it is done. Like it is done. You're telling me that you are done and with you. I'm not the person to be there for you. And it did. It ended up going to voicemail. It ended up going to text messages, no response. Or hi, I just woke up, blah blah blah. 3 hours later, not 3 hours later, maybe even like 8 hours later, and then she sends me a text. I kid you not, Rob. This is why I have such a hard time like trusting people. I'm really that kind of person where I want to trust you, but at the same time, it's going to take years for me to trust you.
And you know what? That's
And it
it.
did. It took me months to open up to her, and I finally give her my number, and then she sends me a text 7 or almost like so many months later, so many weeks later, and this is the text. I don't know why we stopped talking.
What?
And you know what, Rob? To me, I was like, I'm sorry, I am not playing your little child games. To me, that's child games. Be an adult, call me, and let's talk about this. But if you want to send it in a text, I'm sorry. I'm 49 years old. I've been out of the house from my parents' home. She still live with her parents, with her mother, and she's something.
No
Never had
way.
kids, never got married. So for me, it was like to me this is childish. I get it, I get it where you're at, but to me, I'm not even gonna respond. Blocked, blocked, blocked. I'm done.
The same thing happened to me. I really don't bring nobody to my house. I really don't give people my number or nothing like that. I'm like private because I got my girls, so I don't really bring nobody. But there was this dude at the gym because I go to the gym, and I've been knowing him for, let's say, since COVID, 4 years since after COVID. I was going to the gym since 2018. They closed the gym 2001. I met him. So me and him were cool. I got my own business, so I took him into business and off and on. And then he was like, I thought he was a cool friend. All right, we always talk positive. He didn't have a place to live. He was kind of a homeless at that moment. So I would hook him up. buying stuff to eat, and I would talk to him. I was the only one that would talk to him at the gym, and all that. You know what I mean? And I would do barbecues at my house. I grill. I'll bring him over. He always tell me, "Hey, Rob, you know what? Don't worry about it, man. I got you." He would never bring nothing. I don't really care because I knew his situation he was in, and so I really let him in. He was coming over, and if you guys go, on my YouTube, I got videos of. I told him that I was gonna do a podcast, and he started coming in the podcast. Everything was cool. Like, everything was cool. We're doing the podcast for like a month. Out of nowhere, out of the blue, he hits me up, and I said, "Yo, what's up, bro? Hey, man, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hang around with you." I said, "Why not? What happened? Did I do something?" Nah, bro, I think you're too positive. What? Yeah, bro, you're too positive for me, and to me, all that is stupid. Like, I'm cool, and like, we took him in. Even my girl, like, when he will come, she will cook. He cook for him. She will make him a meal to go, and we'll hook him up. You know what I mean? Like, I took him in, like, not like took him in to live with me, but he will come over. We'll chill. He was part of the family. I'm a big wrestling fan, so when WrestleMania came out this year, I did a big barbecue. I brought him over, and out of the blue, he was like, "I don't want to hang around with you. I think you're too positive. I think you're this, and I think you're that." And like, I have never in my life heard nobody said, "I don't want to hang around with you because you're too positive." He said, "You know what, man? Like, fucking bullshit happens, and you just think it positive. Like, come to the real world. That that's not how you think." And I told him, I said, "Look, bro, I think that we shouldn't be chilling no more, bro." And after that, I blocked him. I stopped talking. I still see him at the gym. I don't talk to him, nothing like that, because those are the kind of people that in your circle, but don't want to see you shine. Because I had never met nobody in my life that I hooked him up as took him in as a brother, saw him as a brother, and for him to turn around and say, fuck that. Even my girl, she was like, "You know what? There's people out there that they're so used to people treating them like shit that when they find somebody that treats them good, they don't want it." And that I learned. I don't hate that guy. Maybe in his mind he felt like he didn't deserve it, or maybe he felt like, I don't know. But I just learned. I learned my lesson, and I just stay away. Like, I'm close now. You know what I mean? Like, people tell me, like, at the gym, like, "Hey, bro, can I hit you up? You got a number?" Nah, bro, just hit me up. Either on Instagram or hit me up here. Yeah, man. Like, you don't know anymore, and people will switch on you so fast. So that's the reason why, like, one person will fuck it up for everybody else. And now I don't fuck with them no more. And people are here to teach you. Like I was saying earlier, people are gonna be here to teach you a lesson. Either you learn from them, and if you don't, guess what? Somebody else is gonna come and still gonna come and do the same thing until you learn.
And
So,
they might be more expensive than you think so. They
a
might take more away from you.
100%. You know what I mean? And you know what got me was that one day I said, "Let's go to my brother's house." And he's like, "All right, man, it's cool." So we went to him. We were chilling with him. We did a podcast. And even that day, he was like, "Hey, you know what, Rob? Let's pitch in for a computer. Let's do this and let's do that." I said, "All right, man, cool." He goes, "Hey, man, you know what? I'm gonna treat you to go eat." Pure talk. You know how when a guy tells a girl before he wants to go out with her, pure, yeah, pure talk. And that day, he was like, "Hey, bro, you think you could take me home?" I said, "Yeah, no doubt, man." And I think that was the last day that we hanged out. And he was like, mind you, half an hour he said that he was going to treat me to eat, that he was going to do a grill for me, a whole bunch of bullshit. So he told me, "Hey, Rob, you think you could drop me off at In and Out?" I said, "Yeah, for In and Out." I'm thinking this was going to be like, "Hey, you know what, Rob? You always take me everywhere, blah, blah, blah." Mind you, I could buy my own shit, but it's just the principle. And he was like, "Hey, man, can you drop me off at In and Out?" I said, "Yeah, bro, no doubt." And he was like, "You know what? Man, there's a lot of traffic. Just drop me off right here. I'll walk it." I said, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, bro, I'll walk you over there. It's cool." I said, "All right." The next day he hit me up and he was like, "Yeah, blah, 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 blah." And I said, "You know what? I learned my lesson." You know what I mean? So I just stop fucking with them. I just really just stopped fucking with it, blocked them, and everything just going because I don't want no negativity in my circle. I'm too old for that. Like we were saying earlier, I'm too old to be babysitting. I'm too old to be doing that shit, and I'm too old to be waiting for people or for to be saying, "Hey, bro, you know, none of that." If you feel comfortable, I'm not gonna change who I am just so I could please somebody else. I'm not gonna feel just to make somebody else feel comfortable. You know what I mean? And like you were saying, Donald, yeah, but I got homies that we don't talk to each other for years, for months, and then when we hang around or when they need something, they're there. Those are the people that, like I said earlier, my five closest friends. You know what I mean? I got those people. I got those brothers, those friends that I just caught it there. I was talking about those people that I was always there, but when I needed them, they wasn't there. Those are the people I cut off. Now I have a couple of my friends, childhood friends, that they always been there for me since day one. That's the reason why they're still there since day one. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that I'm not gonna change, that I'm not gonna trade, that I'm not gonna do nothing because they've been there since day one. You know what I mean? There's the people that don't do shit for me. It's the people that gossip, the people that talk shit about other people. Those are the people that I don't want to fuck around with. Those are the people that you gotta let go. You know what I mean? That's for the people that I was talking about. And you said, Donald, that you served too. Thanks for your service, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, though, brothers, you know, life is here to teach us lessons. People are here to teach us. And it's up to us, bro, to learn or to let shit go, man. It's really up to us, not to nobody else. And if we let people come and fuck up our days, we're the ones that are allowing it. Nobody else. We're the ones that are giving that
Exactly.
power to people. We're the ones that are allowing people to come and fuck up our days, to fuck up our lives. We have a choice. We have a choice to get up and walk away. But some of us choose to stay there and allow people to hurt us. We stay there and we allow the people to keep doing the same shit over and over and over. We're the ones that are giving them the power. We have a choice to get up and say enough is enough and leave. You know what I mean? It's up to us. We have the power. We have the power to take it.
Exactly, Rob. I agree with you. I'm sorry, Donald. I need to get my glasses to be able to read his comments, but I just wanted to add, Rob, I know people like they either are like, wait, what? So I have a bunch of tattoos. I have like at least maybe 7 or 8 of tattoos. But my first one was the one that it's wrapped around my right leg, and I can go ahead and read it every day. And that is, it says, "Never a failure, always a lesson." And that's the beauty about this life that we have right now. You have people that are going to go ahead and come and teach you a lesson.
100%.
But do not feel like you're failing. Just realize that, hey, it's a lesson. Thank you very much. God bless you. But I'm going to learn from this now.
100%. And if you don't, this is what I believe too. I believe that if you don't learn from that lesson, it's gonna come back again, disguised as somebody else, but the same obstacle, the same shit, until you learn from it. You know, a lot of people say, "Why is this happening to me? Why does this keep happening to me?" Because you're allowing the cycle to keep coming. You're allowing it. You have the power to stop, but that's why it keeps coming back. You know, that's why I tell my daughter all the time too. I say, you know what? Don't run from your problems. Don't run. Fix your problems. Oh, you're a chef, Donald? Oh man, that's pretty dope, man. I wish I could learn how to cook good. But yes, you know what I mean? And like we were saying right now is life is a learning lesson. We are a learning like that's why you know when somebody says, "Oh, I know everything," you're the foolish guy in the room because we're learning. Every day we learn something new. You know what I mean? And no matter who we hang around with, a good person, a bad person, you know, sometimes to teach you that not everybody's an asshole, that not everybody's here to to take something from you, not everybody's here to hurt you. You know what I mean? There's people that come in your life to teach you. There's good people that come and teach you good shit too. How there's bad people that come and fuck with you. You know what I mean? Thank you, brother. And we just have to learn. We learn. You know, like there's good, there's evil. There's all that. Not everybody's here to hurt you. Not everybody's here to do good for you. You know, like I always say, and I tell my kid, you always have to look. how people react when you give them good news, because not everybody's happy that good shit is happening to you. Those are the people that you gotta watch out. You have to let go, you know,
Exactly.
and you always have to see how people talk about others, because how they talk about others, they're gonna talk about you. How people, you know what I mean? If people are mad at somebody and they come and tell you all their secrets, guess what? One day they're gonna do the same shit to you.
Yeah,
It's just your
exactly.
turn,
Okay.
and it's
Okay.
just,
So,
uh huh.
so Rob, I'm sorry. I do have to let you go.
I have to go too.
Okay.
My
So
phone is
we.
about to die.
Oh. Okay.
We've been here
So
for an
yeah, we
hour and
did.
40 minutes.
Were we on for an hour and 40 minutes?
Yeah,
I
because
thought we were.
I'm on YouTube too. I'm on live on YouTube, and I'm reading the time
Oh.
an hour and 40 minutes.
Oh wow! It felt like 20 minutes to me, to be honest
I
with you.
know this is the first time that I really come and do a live, because for some reason before it wouldn't let me, but now I'm gonna come live every day. So whoever is listening to me, I really appreciate you guys coming by and stopping by. I really appreciate you too, Vale, for joining and giving me your opinion and all that. I really appreciate it. Whenever you guys see my live, come and check me out.
Yeah, definitely. You better send me an invite.
I will, and I also have a YouTube, and on my YouTube is my podcast is half an hour with the big dog, and my channel is big underscore Rob at 79.
Okay, definitely.
So you guys are more than welcome to go check my stuff out on YouTube or come and check me out. And I also have on Instagram. It's called big the same thing but without the 79.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. You've been very enlightened to be able to talk to.
No, thank
Let
you.
me know when you're up again.
I would. I appreciate you
Donald.
guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you very much with your green hair. Okay,
all
bye.
the way
Green
from
hat.
all the way from Los Angeles. I send you guys love and a hug and good vibes, positive vibes. And remember this, man. Believe in yourself. Go out there and go get it. This is your world. We just live in it.
Yeah. And Donald, you have a great day, my
Oh,
friend.
thank you, Donald. Thanks everybody that came in. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Much love. And you guys have a good one.